Good afternoon and welcome to Open Studios right here on DSTV channel 263. My name is Pimelo Mhlanga, aka the P Master, and I am your host for this afternoon. This afternoon you're going to be joined by Mr. Sipiwo, and a little bit later on you're going to be joined by Baneti, who is a registered Kasi councillor, and we're going to be talking about challenges of giving back to the community. And Mr. Sipiwo is a South African radio personality. He's a TV personality, an inspirational speaker, and MC. Mr. Sipiwo, good afternoon and welcome to Open Studio.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Now, starting off, I would like you to actually introduce yourself to our viewers. Let them know who you are and what is it that you do.
Okay, I'm a South African radio and TV personality. Began my career in 2010. Have worked across the board in media from print. Began my broadcasting career in 2014 when I hosted a show on SABC1, a consumer first show, Yilungelo Lakho, and then after that did a couple of shows within the same space. I'm currently on radio on Umhlobo and FM, and I do a couple of other initiatives on the side. All
right. Well, you've done very interesting stuff. Now, we're going to be chatting about the initiative that you're actually doing on social media, not on social media rather, but a community initiative that you're currently doing to, I don't know whether it is your way of plowing back to communities, but I would like you to actually tell us more about Adopt a Family.
Okay, Adopt a Family is an initiative I decided to drag along on social media this year, but it didn't start on social media. It's a campaign that I began with my friends about 6 or 7 years ago. Around this time, festive season, around the festivities, people are out with their families, having a good time. And so we decided, maybe it would be quite noble of us to adopt at least one family, buy them groceries, give them all sorts of, basic needs that perhaps they would need around this time of festivities.
Yeah.
And so this year I decided to make it bigger, of course, with the number of following that I have and seeing the interest that people have in bringing back the spirit of Ubuntu.
Yeah.
And so I posted it back on Twitter and on Facebook, and the reaction was quite amazing.
Well, that is a very interesting initiative you're actually doing right there. Now, tell us about what actually inspired this initiative. What actually motivated you to do, because there's different ways of actually giving back to the community, but you specifically choosing Adopt a Family. What is the motivation behind that?
I think in our communities, or rather in our society, there's always somebody who's in need and who's expectant of a blessing or a miracle. So to be an agent of change, and not just of change but of hope as well, is something that I've always wanted to be a part of, or rather transform into. The higher you go, the more you're blessed. You're not just blessed to be good for yourself, but you're also blessed to be a blessing to others. I also believe that to whom much is required, much is given, much is required. And so it was basically to bring back the sense of Ubuntu within communities, and also just to remember that, not all is rose and merry. Living in South Africa, in a country that is a third world developing country with all sorts of trademarks of poverty, unemployment and all sorts. It would be good to sort of start such similar or small campaigns like this to ignite that sense of Ubuntu and giving back to the poor.
All right. Now, how are you actually hoping to impact into people? Because as you have mentioned just now, is that like you are hoping to bring back that spirit of Ubuntu. I would say from your experiences with the initiative up to this point, has that actually been like, has it been happening for you? Like, how has the response basically been?
Well, this year, because like I said, I decided to drag it on social media, so I haven't seen much. And also, I think the encouragement behind it was, my tagline was, we don't have to post everything we do on social media, especially for those who are poor. But knowing it from my side, it has impacted a lot of lives. It has transformed quite a lot as well. People, especially those who have benefited from the system, will then later on, when they're in their own balance, in a position to give back to the needy, will then want to do likewise. So it's a cycle in a way. We're bringing back people, like I said, we're bringing back the spirit of Ubuntu, but at the same time, we are teaching people who are reculturing our system, one that says, the higher you go for yourself and for your family. We're saying you have to drag other people on the side. So this year, I'm very interested to see how it's going to pan out. I think, the end result will probably be more, reliable to be reviewed in January.
All right. Now, in terms of social media hashtags, I don't know, are those things of raising awareness on social media, do you think it is actually viable? Because, every time there's someone is raising awareness of something, when there's a community development or maybe someone like facing any type of abuse, like basically any people go for hashtags. We see everything is hashtag this, hashtag that. Do you think that is actually viable, or is it a need for people to actually be going to social media?
Social media is quite a big tool. I think we've ventured into a lifetime of digital strength. So much is happening, and everything is at the palm of your hand. You basically use a smartphone when you have, the entire hand and the entire world at the palm of your hand. So definitely social media is the way to go. And I think in 10, 15, 20 years from now, everything will basically, the exchange of information will be done there. I think we're starting to see it with campaigns as big as Freeze Must Fall last year. It was a big hashtag, and it went global in a way, so it did bring awareness. We also had Man are Trash, and so many other hashtags. So social media getting into this global landscape of, that is digitally magnified, we're definitely going to get to a point where, everybody is well looked, and it's basically our basic way of communicating.
All right. So is there specific people that you're actually working with in this particular initiative?
Nobody in particular, no organization in particular as well. Like I said, we don't want to sort of formalize it in a way that it starts to look like an organization or a cult of some sort. We're just trying to bring along anyone who's interested. It doesn't have to be anyone who's coming from any kind of LSM, perhaps the highest, lowest LSMs to the lowest. It's anybody who can give anything. And sometimes it doesn't have to be monetary, it could be, giving your time, taking your time to go and help those who can't help themselves, etc. So currently I'm just working with anybody who's willing to come on board.
All right, man. Thank you. Now, right now, we're going to be going to an ad break. When you come back now, we're going to be chatting to Banetsi, a registered psychologist. We're going to be continuing the conversation right here, Open Studios, DSTV, channel 263. Stay with us.